Alright, welcome to Day of Dragons, Open Beta Livestream Developer Q&A. I'm Jonathan Slayball, the lead developer for Day of Dragons. And before I get too far ahead, can you all hear me out there? I'm watching for comments. Do you all hear me? Hello, hello. On YouTube, does anybody hear me? Okay, I'm getting some yeses that I'm being heard. Okay, I'm being heard on YouTube. There we go. Yep, there they come in. Okay, there's a little bit of a delay there. I just wanted to make sure, because if you remember the last live stream we had, I was talking for like 30 minutes and my microphone was off the whole time, and so we'll never get back all that 30 minutes of awesomeness. So, but we're here with our open beta live stream. It's pretty exciting. We've been working the last 22 months on getting this open beta out, and there's a little misconception about the alpha and the beta and how much time we put into working on Day of Dragons, and I want to clear that up. So back in 2019, when we started doing our Kickstarter, we had a demo that I had been working on making a game, and it was nowhere near to where it needed to be, but I needed support to make the game the way I wanted it. So a friend suggested I try Kickstarter, and so I thought about the idea because I wanted to make a dragon game, but I had no funding, I had no support, I had no help. It was just me. I was the only person working on Day of Dragons, and I spent 2 years learning how to make a game, and then I had to learn. I worked on with Amazon's Lumberyard. I worked with the CryEngine. I tried Unity, and I settled on Unreal Engine. So I had to learn how Unreal Engine works, and so I spent 2 years doing research and development and trying to learn to become a game developer. And programming something I've been doing since I was 20 years old, and so I've been programming at that point for over 15 years. But and my background was in Java, so I didn't know C++, but I was learning C++ because to make the game the way I needed to, I had to learn C++. And so I've been learning, and I don't think anybody can, honestly say that they're a master of any computer language, because you're always learning to be better and to perfect your craft. But in early 2019, I think around May, I started really getting into learning C++ and trying to learn how to make this game. And like I said, no funding, no help, and we when you are self-funded and you're the only person working on the game, you start looking at ways to. I'm not an artist, so I can't do 3D art. I'm arguably a really good 2D artist. I mean, some of you have seen my artwork. Some would say it's Picasso or Michelangelo. Others would say it's awful. But my skill set is limited. So not one person can't do it all. You got to have help. So I was like, where am I going to find somebody to make me some dragons? Well, I'm going to have to be able to hire them, so I'm going to have to get some money. And somebody suggested Kickstarter. And at the time, the only way I could get dragons into my game to make my game was to use placeholder assets off the Unreal Marketplace. So I found some dragons off the marketplace. I put them into my game, but they were always intended to be placeholder assets, and we were very clear about that back during our Kickstarter when we were interviewed. We said, these are just placeholders, these are just placeholders, these are just placeholders. We said that in interview after interview after interview, and somehow it got misconstrued and twisted around, and people were saying that, we never said that, but we did. Just watch the old videos. But the whole intention of the Kickstarter, it says right there in the Kickstarter that we wanted to raise $12,000 for 3 dragons to make this game. And you all just said, well, shut up and take my money. And so we ended up raising over $500,000. And so the very small idea that I had, because I was limited by funding and talent, and so it went from a small idea to a really big idea. I was like, well, with this kind of funding, I can go all out on this game. I can make a really, really cool game, a really nice game, not the passion project that I was originally making due to limited help, limited funding. But I can go all out on this. And that's what I decided to do. After the Kickstarter, I said, I'm going all out on this. And I put out a couple more updates to the alpha to make the game playable and stable. And originally I wasn't even going to put the alpha out on Steam, because I was going to just throw that in the trash and start working on the real game. And Kickstarters, well, you remember back then, I asked you, I said, should we put this out? Do you guys want this alpha to play with, or should we just trash it and work on the beta? And it was overwhelming. People were like, give us the alpha, give us the alpha, we want to play it now. And so we put the alpha out, and then all the drama stuff started, and all the misconceptions and twisted stories and all that. But here we are 2 years beyond all that stuff, and we kept our promise. We kept working day in and day out. I generally work 7 days a week, 10 to 14 hours every day on this game. And despite what some people who are not game developers have said, we are making tremendous progress. In just 22 months, we have put out a playable open beta for Day of Dragons, and with our own custom-made models, custom animations, custom code, custom sounds, custom music, custom UI. It's all right there, and we have made tremendous progress with our very small team of developers. And I just want to say thank you to all of our devs for working so hard on Day of Dragons and getting this open beta out to you, our fans. With all that said, we're going to play the open beta today, and I'm going to show you guys some things about the game that you probably didn't know, or maybe you found out. We're going to talk about our Trello Roadmap and things that are coming up in the future, and we're going to take your questions and answer your questions. So without further ado, I'm going to spawn in here as a as a shadow scale, and let's pick the Crimson Patron skin here. Alright, so I am a shadow scale egg, and to hatch as a baby dragon, you press the E button. And by the way, I'm on, all of us are on US official number 3, so if you want to hop in and join us, you're more than welcome to. We're on official US number 3. This is the roleplay PvE server, and I want to go into streaming mode here real quick. While I'm in the UI, I want to show you guys some things about the UI. So here in game settings, you can see language here is grayed out. We're eventually going to have localization. That's something a lot of people have asked us about. We are definitely bringing in localization for the German language, the French language, the Spanish language, and the Russian language. And those will be the first 4 localizations that we bring in, as German, French, Russian, and Spanish, and maybe some more languages later. So icon HUD style, we have 2 HUD styles: survival, which has the blood screens, and then we have an RPG style, which has the little bars that kind of give you details about your stats. You can change your icon size for like the food and water icons. You can make this chat box always stay there. You can let it fade out. I like having it fade out. Sprint behavior, you can hold the sprint or make sprint a toggle. Hints, you can turn those off if you don't like them. Streaming mode, we're in streaming mode because we're streaming. What streaming mode does is it hides people's Steam IDs from your stream, and it also mutes all the music. And Day of Dragons soundtrack is copyright music. We're registered in the YouTube music library, so if anybody plays our music on YouTube, it will claim that, not strike it, but it will claim it. There's a big difference between a claim and a strike. A claim just, if you play like How to Train Your Dragon music or any Disney music, or most music on YouTube is registered copyright. So if you play it, it will claim it for the copyright owner, and they basically get any ad revenue off that music. So we understand that a lot of people want to stream Day of Dragons and make money off their videos, through ad revenue and stuff. So we put this streaming mode in here, and if you enable it, it will mute the copyright music in Day of Dragons, and so that YouTube won't claim it, and so that you'll get all the ad revenue for it. So that's what streaming mode does. Player avatar, you can hide people's Steam avatars if you want to. Crosshair style, dot is the default. I like the crosshair, it helps me aim better. Stereo listener, this determines where you hear sounds from, whether it's your camera or your character. I like it on my character. Okay, so input. Here's something else I want to talk about in the stream. A lot of people get confused with flying for the first time, because you'll fly in W, you're holding W while you're running, and then once you take off to fly, you nosedive right into the ground. And everybody's done it, I've done it. We have this thing here called invert pitch up down. So if you turn that on, it will make W up and S down. So to some people this makes more sense. To people that played a lot of flight simulators, having it off makes more sense. So it's off by default. If you want to really customize your keybinds, you can turn on allow duplicate keybind assignments. That'll let you assign the same key for multiple different things. It's off by default so people don't mess up their keybinds. You can definitely rebind your keys, and this is something that confuses a lot of people. You come down here to the emotes, and some of you are used to threaten being number 3 and greet being number 2, and you want to change that, and then you left mouse click and nothing happens, and you think, oh, it's not in yet, or it's broke, it doesn't work. But it does work. What you do is you click it and then you press enter, and now I rebound it to the 6 key. So I'm going to put it back to 2. Oops. There we go. Okay, so that's how that works. You press enter, you hover over your keybind, you press enter, and it lets you change your keybind. It's that simple. Those of you that have the problem with your camera not working have played the alpha. All of you have played the alpha that have a camera that doesn't turn. And we have a link, maybe Parrot or one of you can go ahead and post that link it's in our Steam. We also have a link for it in Discord. But if you go to our Steam discussion forum, you'll see a thread called Common Issues or Common Fixes for Common Issues, and it has all the problems that people are running into can all be fixed if they, for the most part, if they read that thread and get it all fixed. But you just have to delete a save folder from the alpha, and it will fix your camera. There's also fixes in there for people whose game crashes on startup. In every scenario, that's Windows 10, and it's because when certain Windows 10 updates don't like DirectX 11. So you can run Day of Dragons in DirectX 11, you can run it in DirectX 12, or you can run it in Vulkan. And a lot of times switching to DirectX 12 if you're on Windows 10 will fix your crash on startup. So. Video settings. If you are in Windows 10, don't go to full screen. A lot of Windows 10 updates, not all of them, but some of the Windows 10 updates do not like full screen mode because Windows 10 kind of deprecated full screen support. So don't go into full screen if you're in Windows 10. And if you do that and your game don't run after you do it, we have a fix for that too. Our settings, we got all different kinds of settings. One setting that I see a lot of streamers struggle with, they get when they're streaming and they have really low frame rates, it's because they have their view distance up too high. It's on Epic or Cinematic. View distance is the biggest killer for frame rate. So if you want really good frames while you're streaming Day of Dragons, set your view distance to no more than high, maybe even medium. But the world, we got a lot of trees and it's a really big world, so you want to keep that low for a really high frame rate. Okay, so I think I'm good with the high, and I'm playing at 30 frames for the stream here. Well, hello everybody. I got all these people around me, and the name tags, that's a server option. That's not the PvE or the roleplay option itself. We have name tags on the RP server just for people that like that. And I'm with Bad Parrot here. She's going to pick me up and take me away. Alright, and when you fly, the camera gets a little jittery. I'll work on polishing that. It has to do with physics-based flight and the sync of the camera, so I'll work on getting that polished. It's a little jittery, but it's not too bad. It gets worse the more the person that is flying is out of sync. One of the popular questions that people ask is about what's the next character coming into the game? Well, the next dragon that's coming into the game is going to be the Flame Stalker. Carly is animating that right now, and the Elemental is also getting finished. There's only a couple animations left with that. Brett is working on that. He recently had a pretty tragic thing happen in his family, and he's had to take some time off. It was just really tragic, but when he's able to, he's going to finish the Elemental animations, and then we'll get that into the game. The Elemental is an unlockable, and you'll be able to play that, and after unlocking it, and it's a class 7 creature, and it's very big, very dangerous. It's going to take a group of dragons to take it down, but they're kind of like population control. They'll be going around hunting dragons. because they have their own gameplay loop as well. It's different than dragons, and some of you might like just playing elementals more than playing dragons. So the Trello Roadmap is up. I don't know if you've all seen it, but we have a Trello Roadmap. We posted the link. We'll post the link again. It shows the things we're going to be working on in the coming updates, but for now our main focus is the Genesis update, which is the feature complete 1.0 version of Day of Dragons. So that's when the Elemental's in, that's when the Flame Stalker's in, the Infernal Ravager's in, the Ascent system's in, and all that good stuff is in the game.
Would you like to fly down yourself?
Sure. You can drop me and let me spread my wings and fly.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I was born ready.
Here you go.
Alright. I am a baby and I'm flying. So babies can fly if they get in the air. They just can't gain momentum until they're older. And they need momentum to be able to fly. But once you get dropped or jump off a high cliff or something like that, you can glide as much as you want until eventually you'll land into the ground. This was a huge request back during the alpha days. People said babies should be able to fly, and we want babies to be able to. It would be so cool if you could drop them and teach them how to fly. So I worked on making a system to where babies they could fly, but they need help, and it's pretty cool. Going in for landing. Perfect. Ooh, I need food. Oh, I had the bug. Okay. So there is a bug with there's a desync that happens between flight sometimes when you get carried, or even if you're just being walked around, and it's very strange because it technically should be forced to resync, and it's not. So I'm going to keep investigating that issue and trying to fix that. But I'm definitely aware of that desync there. And usually it can be fixed if somebody else besides the one that picked you up, if somebody else picks you up and drops you, that usually fixes that. Or you just have to wait for the server to catch up. Get me some water here. I'm just going to stick my whole head in the pond. Now, streaming mode also hides your location so that you can't be stream sniped. You know, if you're on the map roaming around, streaming mode hides your coordinates, and that keeps you from getting stream sniped. Oh yeah, walking backwards. So, walking backwards is definitely a thing. A lot of people don't know about it, but if you hold Alt, and then you know, press S, you can walk backwards. Holding Alt and turning your mouse around also lets you Alt turn. Some of you have played games without Alt turn, and then you're like on the edge of a cliff and you can't turn around and you can't walk backwards and you end up falling off the cliff. So we have an Alt turn just for that reason. I've been stolen. How do y'all like the sunsets? I spent a lot of time working on the time of day system and the lighting. Still more work to do, but each biome is going to have its own lighting theme. So the sunrise, sunset, and the day, night will look different depending on what biome you're in. It's been really cool watching a lot of the feedback from the open beta. There's been a lot of people that were very critical of the alpha, and they're all now like, wow, this game looks awesome. It's like, yeah, it's amazing what you can do if you give people time to work. Like, there's no way we're gonna make a game in 2 weeks after the Kickstarter. It doesn't matter how much money you have. If you don't have time and you don't have talent, you can't get it done. So now we have time, we have talent, and we're making things happen. And the devs we have today, we have a Bad Parrot in here, our production manager. We got Brigade in here, she's one of our 3D artists. Flicker's in here, our VFX artist. Carly's in here, our senior animator. We got Rose here, she's one of our game designers. And we have Midnight, our community manager. So everybody say hello to all of them.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello.
I'm going to turn the game volume down just a little bit. There we go. Alright. By the way, you might hear some whining in the background. I got 2 beautiful German Shepherds, and one of them's in heat right now, and the other one is really wanting to spend time with her. Say we had a puppy. She had her first litter. My female. I got a male and a female, and she had her first litter in April, and the puppy ended up being stillborn. So we're going to be trying again, and because we want some puppies. I have some people that want some German Shepherd puppies. So. Alright, hey, there's Rose, and there's Brigade, Parrot, are all here. See some other people I know. There's Ulta. There's Cheeky, one of our moderators. Oh, there's Flicker. Alright, so I've been baby long enough. I want to be adult. And for all the admins out there, you're a server owner or an admin, I am adding a name filter. So because when you get a list like this, it's really hard to find people, and I'm going to add a name filter in here, so you'll be able to type their name in, and it'll just filter the list for you. So that's coming. Don't worry. I feel your pain. Oh, by the way, admins, you can definitely kill yourself, slay yourself in the admin panel. It's just when you go in the admin panel, you're immune to damage. So if you want to slay yourself, you have to go in the chat box here and turn, type super/super and turn off your damage immunity so that you can kill yourself, which, slay yourself in the game. That's how that works. And if you haven't noticed, there's a help/help that gives you a list of all the chat commands in the game. So I'm going to talk in local. So you type /L and then whatever you want to say. But we also have chat channels, so I can scroll through. This is a global and local, so I can just go to the local channel. And then just talk in local. Another thing that a lot of people have issues with is chat scrolling. You'll be in the all chat and you want to scroll up and read messages, and as soon as somebody else talks, it automatically goes back to the bottom, and that annoys a lot of people. To get around that, go into the actual channel. Like if you're trying to read global chat, just switch to global, and once you're in global, you can scroll up as long as you want to and read whatever you want, and it's not going to automatically pull your channel back down. So that's how you do that. You just go to the channel, that has the conversation that you want to read, and you can just scroll up on that one. That doesn't automatically go down to the bottom. That only happens in global chat. So there's two ways to fly. A lot of you know that. Some of you don't. Some of you run and then press F, or jump and then press F, but you can also run and hold spacebar, and that will also let you fly. So you can just run and hold space, and it's the same as jumping and pressing F, but I think it's easier. It's a lot of speed. Okay, so I'm going to take a little voice break here and let you all ask questions. And you can ask us questions about the beta, the Trello. You can ask questions about game development. You can ask one of the questions. We got Parrot here, Brigade, Flicker, Carly, Rose, and Midnight. If you have a question for one of them, you can ask them. And all your questions need to be asked in the YouTube chat channel. We're monitoring that one for questions. And so you ask and we'll try to answer.
Okay, the first question is, can you go beyond Elder?
Eventually. There's another stage of growth called Ancient. And that's going to be like the most difficult in-game progression for your dragon. So, but that's not, it's in, but there's no way to attain it right now, unless you're a developer.
Another question is, will alt turning get an animation?
Uh, maybe eventually. Alt turning might have a turn animation, a turn in place. Those are really kind of tricky to do. Um, Sometimes it doesn't look good because I've tried it before. Um, but we'll probably try it again eventually.
Will your dragons die of old age?
Uh, we might put a server option in to allow people to have like a hardcore mode like that, to where servers can die of old age, or dragons can die of old age. But by default, no.
Is there a second way to get to Elder?
Right now, the way to progress through growth is through the species mushrooms. Um, but there's better ways to get mushrooms than to just sit at the cave.
And they are saying I'm super quiet, so you might want to turn me up, Jo.
All right, let me try turning you up.
There is also a request to explain the genes in the character panel and what each one does.
How do y'all hear now? Is that better? Say something again.
Something again.
Works. Is that better? Y'all hear better?
They said better.
All right, cool.
So did you want to go over what each gene means and what it does for your dragon?
Oh, okay. So I can do that. All right. So in the uh, character panel, by the way, we have a compass. It's at the top. There's also waypoints. You can press M to drop a waypoint. But okay. So first thing you gotta know with Day of Dragons is that armor is like extremely important. Without armor, you have no damage mitigation. So like an Inferno Ravager, wyverns can have up to 100% mitigation. Different species have different levels of a different soft cap for their um, resistances, and wyverns don't have a soft cap. They can have up to 100%. So an Inferno Ravager can have over 100% fire mitigation. Okay, so and by default, they're all born with 100%. Fire doesn't phase them, as long as they have armor. The thing with the Inferno Ravager is if you decay their armor down to 0 and they set themselves on fire, they can actually end up burning themselves. So um, their Inferno ability is very, very powerful melee ability. It does fire damage over time, and it also can set you on fire. Um, but so if you take their armor down to 0, they lose their fire mitigation. So armor is very important. That's where the Acid Spitter, that's really their gameplay style, is debuffing armor and stamina. And they're a little strong right now for a class 3. There's going to be a balance pass on both the Spitter and the Shadow Scale, and we'll probably end up keep doing balance passes, you know, for a long time until the game is really, really balanced. But as far as these genetics go, life expectancy, that directly influences how much health you have. Um, Higher life expectancy, you have more health. Scale thickness does the same thing for armor. Endurance is your max stamina and stamina regen. Bile production, max bile regen. Bite force, that's your bite damage. Um, different grades do different things. An F grade is -5%. E is 0%, so you don't get a buff or a debuff. And then they all go 1%. Every grade gives you another percent, 1% up to A minus. And then when you get to A, it starts exponentially going up. So A plus, and A plus plus will give you more than 1% per tick. So, but the grades go from F to A plus plus. Power, that is your bile or breath attack damage. Strength, that's your melee attack damage, like a tail swipe or a claw swipe. It's doesn't really have any effect right now, and it could also do like a stomping damage. You know, for like Behemoth, Ice Drake, he does trample. Nutrient absorption, that has to do with food and hunger. Water retention has to do with dehydration and water. Toxin, impact, pierce, fire, frost, those all directly affect your well, toxin tolerance. That gives you a higher resistance to sickness. So the higher that is, the more poison you can take before you start taking damage. Impact, pierce, those are all damage resistances. So there's 8 types of damage in the game. You got impact, which is like blunt force. You got pierce, which is, you know, like biting or piercing. Fire, frost, plasma, lightning, acid, venom, those are all pretty self-explanatory. And then mutations, wow, those things do a lot of things. I'm actually going to be putting in tooltips eventually. Maybe even the next patch. I was working on it here this last week. The tooltips, fertile for males, that increases how many nests you can have. Females, that decreases egg lay timers and incubation times. Fertile also increases skin crafting chance for a crit. So there's like a crit chance, and each point gives you 1%. So you can have up to 6% crit chance bonus for skin crafting, 3 from the male and 3 from the female. So they stack. Dominant, that gives you melee damage bonuses, like bite force. It increases your bite force. It also increases your chance to pass down your stats versus your mate stats. And it increases the distance between like nest protection. It does some other things too, I can't think of them at the moment. Agile has to do with walking and running, speeds, swimming, turn speeds, bank speed when you're flying, stamina regen, things like that. Fast, that gives you a 10% speed boost. It also has things to do with like water and water drain and stamina. Scavenger, wow, Scavenger and Survivor, they do a lot of things defensively, so they increase resistances, armor, health, healing, incoming healing, and sleep healing. How much food and water you get when you eat and drink, how long you can go without eating and drinking, things like that. It's all about surviving. And so I'll have a tooltip in eventually, and it will give you like the stats for all that stuff. Bloodline quality, that is one of the most important stats in the entire game. It does a lot of things. one of the big things it does is decreases bleed and decay times. So if you have A bloodline quality, you'll bleed and decay or stay frozen or burn for a lot less time than somebody that has E. So that's a very, very important stat. So you definitely want an A. A is the highest bloodline quality, and you definitely want a bloodline quality dragon. So for those of you pursuing elder progression, it's kind of a waste to do it on an E, B, even a B. I would definitely wait until you have an A bloodline quality dragon and then pursue it on that. So, okay. Any other questions?
There are lots.
I bet.
The next one is there going to be a way to prevent clans from camping mushrooms?
Yes. Because the mushroom spawns will always be changing. Um, I like to mix things up, so they're not just going to always be in the same place forever. They'll like every patch, every bigger patch or update, I'll end up moving them around so that they can't just keep camping in the same spots. They have to go find them again. Some of you have already figured out that not every mushroom always spawns the same. So sometimes they spawn red, sometimes they spawn blue, sometimes they spawn yellow. Some only spawn red or blue, some only red or yellow, some only spawn blue or yellow or red. But they, you never know which mushroom can produce a different kind of mushroom. So, unless you eat it.
Will temperature be in the game, such as if a dragon gets too hot, it has to go to the water?
Yeah, temperature is already in the game. The foundational parts of it, because you can see under habitat, its temperature is cool right now. But temperature is going to really influence when I get egg incubation system put in. Right now it's just timer based, but eventually you're going to have to incubate, work to incubate your eggs, and temperature is going to play a big part of that. So if you're in a cold environment, it's going to be really hard to incubate a fire dragon. If you're in a hot environment, it's going to be really hard to incubate a ice dragon. So temperature will change even depending like where you are. So like if you go up to the top of the mountain here, it'd be colder. So if you were an ice wyvern and you wanted to nest in the Forgotten Forest, you'd want to go to the top of the mountain where there's ice and snow, because the temperature would be better for your egg incubation. So
Will the spectator mode camera be made faster to facilitate it being used in a more cinematic fashion?
uh, I do want to put like a speed thing on the spectator camera, but um, that's something that's like low on the priority list right now, things to do.
Will the healer dragon and nurse dragon be able to be unlocked through gameplay?
Oh yeah. All the Kickstarter stretch goals, stretch rewards, which are the healer, the nurse, the melanistic skin, which is the black dragon skin, the micro, the hybrid, and the behemoth ice drake. Those are all unlockable through gameplay for everybody. Eventually, those will all be put into the game, where some of the models are already done. It just takes time to get them all animated. You gotta get them rigged, and you gotta get animated, and then you gotta get them integrated. But all that's coming, and when they're put in, they'll be unlockable. The melanistic skin right now is already unlockable, and the method to unlock it changed from the open beta. I was kind of being a little sneaky in the open, or not the open, the closed beta, the exclusive beta. That was like the 1 week head start for the Kickstarter backers with the beta access, and I put some things in there, and they're like, "Oh, we know how to do this now," and I was just like temporary. And then when the, you know, open beta came out, I changed it. So they thought that they figured it all out, but then I changed it on them. So, but you can unlock the melanistic skin. Any player can per server. It's not very hard to do. It's pretty easy. Um, and you just, I don't know as if you all figured it out yet, but anybody can do it, and it's pretty easy to do. So some of you have unlocked it and you don't know how. Some of you are kind of hot on the trail. Some of you are kind of cold, but it's definitely doable right now.
Will elders look different than adults?
They already do.
Why do you have to eat so many mushrooms?
Because they're nutritious and they're good for you.
Will this game skew more towards survival or MMO focused on multiplayer, clans, and questing?
Day Dragons is very much focused on clans. Um, there's not a lot of games out there that focus on clans, um, but what keeps uh, games going, you know, after you, I mean, for most players just playing a game for themselves, they play it, they do what they want to do, they have fun, and then they're done. But when you incorporate social features like clans, um, and give clans something to work towards as a group, it keeps people playing, especially when there's competition. And if you look at all the popular games out there that like Ark, okay, Ark is extremely popular. Um, is it, you know, I played Ark, you know, on my own computer, just, you know, single player, and then I played Ark with my clan, and I would much rather play it with my clan. It is so much funner when there's other people to interact with. There's competition between different tribes, and you know, that clan thing where you know, you're working towards a common goal together. I really like that. Um, and Day of Dragons, if you know, we have PVE servers. If you don't want to be in a clan, you just want to play the game and enjoy yourself, we have PVE options to where you can do that. You could run your own server and be an admin and grow yourself, and you know, all that stuff is available for people that want to play just by themselves or be a loner. But the big focus is really on clans, and one of the things we're going to be doing with the clans is have clan caves where you can build. You know, you can either claim a cave or build like a you know, drop a clan cave down, and you know, you have like a food storage in there where you can like store food. You know, you like go out and kill, and then you carry your kill in, and you put it in the cave, and it kind of like um, you know, stores the food in like a corpse pile or something like that, and maybe a fire dragon would cook the food or something like that to keep it preserved, or an ice dragon would um, you know, freeze it to preserve it. But then also like spawn points, I want clan caves to be like the spawn area for clans, so they can all spawn back at their cave, and have different landmarks around the world. I mean, we're going to have 4 huge maps, and so there's going to be plenty of uh, locations that clans will want to claim for themselves. And so, yeah, definitely clan focused.
I'd like to add to that that we also plan to have the caves customizable, and so you'll be able to add your personal touch to them. And the next question is, will you be adding a feature where you can challenge other clans to battle? Like maybe have the chieftains threaten call each other?
I never thought about that. We are going to have an emote come out. We have some more emotes planned. A love or care emote, you know, a sad emote, a challenge or taunt emote. So those will come out eventually. And but as far as like challenge, I don't know. That's a cool idea though.
Will mushrooms ever be able to be picked up?
Uh, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's possible. I don't know if that's something that. I mean, I guess if you're bringing it to a baby, but you could also just bring your baby to the mushrooms. So,
Will admins ever have an elder or ancient growth command?
I don't know. Um, elders, if you, it's in a system. If you allow people to grow themselves to elder, it could break the game. But I guess if it's admins, it's up to them. But it's kind of like an in-game thing. I want people to work towards. I don't want people just to free grow themselves to elder because number one, it's really powerful. So if it's on a server that they're like have some kind of system where players can spend points to grow themselves to elder, it becomes really unfair for the for all the other players because of how powerful they are. So I don't know. It's something we'll think about. Maybe see what the community wants eventually, but at this point, no.
Will there be more than one slot per species per server?
No. I mean that could change, but for now, the answer is no because um, if you have multiple save slots, then you really aren't real careful with your dragon. You're like, well, I got my really good dragon that I don't want to lose, and then I got my other one that I can just go grief people with, or go around risking its life with, and I don't really care if it dies or not. So I'd rather people like really care about their decisions and um, not just be careless with their dragon, throw it away. Now you do have different save slots for different species. Like you can have an acid spitter and a shadow scale. And then when Flamestalker and Inferno come out, you'll be able to have a Flamestalker and an Inferno, so you'd be able to have four, uh, dragons on the server. And then if you had an Elemental, you'd be able to have a fifth, an Elemental as well. So I think that is good. A lot of games you only have one life or one save slot, so we actually give you one per creature.
Will body despawn times be changed so the bodies do not despawn as fast?
Corpse despawn timer is something server owners can change. We have it default to 5 minutes on official. You can refresh the timer on the corpse if you pick it up. So if you pick it up, it refreshes the timer for another 5 minutes. But it's basically there so that people don't just kill corpses and leave them sit there, and then because that eats up resources on the server. So we figure if you haven't eaten it after 5 minutes, then it'll just go poof. And if you want to save it for later, just pick it up. You can pick it up and drop it, or you can just pick it up and hold it, and it won't despawn. And like I said, server owners can, if they want it to be an hour, they can do that on their server. But on official, it's 5 minutes.
Will there be alliances between clans?
That is something that a lot of clans are asking for, and um, I'm definitely thinking about adding that in later. So I think it'd be cool if uh, I just got to figure out how it would work and like what would it actually do. Just name tags or how it would actually work. So, but it's an idea that I'm definitely chewing on.
What are the fastest to slowest dragons in the game?
Well, there's only two in right now, and Shadowscale is definitely the slowest one. It's Shadowscale is really fast in the air. It's one of the faster flyers, but it's a little clumsy on the ground. Acid Spitters, of the dragons we have coming out on the roadmap, Acid Spitter is by far the fastest on the ground.
Is the collision with items on the ground going to be fixed?
Yeah, there's some items on the ground that are kind of small and shouldn't be having any collision on them, and that's something that I missed. It's not intended, but because I spend so much time flying and not running through the woods, so I missed some of the collision on smaller items, but yeah, that'll get fixed.
Will there be weather events?
None other than snow, probably not.
Are the elder mushrooms currently the only way to become an elder?
We already answered that question.
Oops.
I have a question. Why is it always dark every time I do a live stream?
Because you made night so long.
it's same time. It's the same length as the daytime. I just have really bad luck, I guess.
What kind of secondary attacks are we going to see, and when do we expect seeing them?
Acid Spitter is going to get a tail swipe, and Shadowscale will get a claw swipe.
And then the second part of that
Oh,
was?
when? As soon as I get him in.
Can we increase the time of decay of an elder corpse because no one can pick it up but an elder?
I wouldn't say nobody can pick it up. Bigger dragons will be able to pick it up. Corpse carry is all about how the size. So bigger dragons can carry smaller things.
Will there be a mode for players who don't find clan-based games fun and just want to PvP and play as a dragon?
Yeah, just don't join a clan. That's all you gotta do is just go solo, and stay away from the areas where the clans hang out. I mean, servers can, if you have a private server, you can, I guess, make rules about clans, or you can make whatever kind of rules you want on your own server.
What do you think the growth timer for the behemoth to reach adult will be?
It's going to be, well, see, behemoths, they don't stop growing at adult. They continue to grow to elder. They don't need mushrooms. They just keep growing. So that's one of the things about being a behemoth is they don't need any catalyst to grow larger. So because of that, their timer is going to be a lot longer than other dragons. It's going to be at least 7 hours to get to full elder as a behemoth.
What is your beef with rain?
Frame rate, performance, and everybody hates it. So, any game I've ever played where it's raining, everybody's like, let's wait until it quits raining, or, oh great, it's raining again. And it kills your frame rate, and yeah. I mean, I guess if you are role playing, it can kind of be cool, but I just see it as an inconvenience and not really anything that adds to the game other than, hey, it's raining.
Will the Inferno Ravager be faster in air than the Flamestalker?
The speeds are still being balanced between the two on the ground and in the air. They're both going to be very similar in speed. The Flamestalker will be a little faster on the ground. The Wyvern will probably be a little faster in the air.
Will there be floating rocks and biome luminescence like in Avatar?
I have definitely looked at like doing that, like having little floating islands, and so maybe in the future, because those floating islands in Avatar were really cool. Even the floating island on the center map in Ark is pretty cool.
Will corpses be easier to pick up when they've been partially eaten?
No.
Will there be a buff for acid spitters to hunt in groups to encourage them to hunt in packs?
Not at this time. I guess if it will, we'll monitor balance. I'm always looking at balance as something that can change how different things play. But right now, there's no group or pack buff for them. They're pretty strong as a group just because they're really fast already. They're fast, and when you hit that decay, oh boy.
Will males and females have different size/features?
They already do. They have different features. They don't have different sizes, but they have different features.
So the two that are currently in, the Acid Spitter and the Shadow Scale, have different colorations. The Acid Spitter, the males and females have different frill colors. You can only really tell if the two colors are standing next to each other. And the female and male Shadow Scales have different eye colors. The next two dragons will have physical features that are different, though. How long will it take the Flamestalker to grow?
It's gonna be around 4 hours. And if you're a Shadow Scale, you better watch out in them Flamestalkers.
What class is the Inferno Ravager and the Flamestalker?
They are both class 5.
Have you thought of adding all of the new biomes into the current map instead of having them all separate?
I've thought about it, but then it'd be a very small world. We want to have 4 16K biomes, not one 16K map with 4 biomes in it. I think it'd actually run better the way it is now, because when you put multiple biomes on the landscape, there's more textures that you have to have loaded in memory. There's more draw calls and things like that. So I think it's better the way we're doing it.
Will there be water-based dragons or sea dragons?
Eventually. We're hoping that we'll be able to put those in once we get, if we get, you know, the support and the longevity, and, you know, people keep playing the game, and, you know, then, as I've said before, the first expansion that we would do would be a water world expansion with water dragons.
Can a healer dragon hurt you with its firepower?
Yes. If it's you know, able to keep the beam on its target, it could eventually do damage, but that'd be really difficult unless they were like stunned or something. Its main role is support, not damage. But it can do damage. It's a little difficult because it has more like a beam weapon.
Will certain species be able to steal eggs for food?
Like the micro?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Is the cloaking system going to be modified to change the strength of the cloak?
The strength of the cloak. Like the refraction?
I think they mean more invisible.
It might get tweaked. It's pretty good right now as it is. I don't want people to be completely invisible. I've hidden from people just by being cloaked and being still. A lot of times people walk right past you and they don't even know you're there. There is sometimes when the light kind of reflects off of it, but most of the time nobody will see you.
Can a smaller tier dragon get to Elder faster than a higher tier?
Nope. Well, I mean, they'd get to adult faster, but the progression to Elder is pretty much the same.
Will all the biomes be connected by portals?
Yes.
How do you upgrade genes to A++?
It's a secret.
Will you have any protection when loading in from the portals?
Yes, you already have protection, so when you go through a portal, it makes you invulnerable to damage for like 5 seconds. So once you're loaded in, the timer is, you know, expires, and then you can be attacked. But that's to give you time to load in and out, so without being, you know, killed the moment you load into another area.
How many dragons will be free for all, and how many will be DLC?
Let's see. We have planned right now. We got Shadow Scale, the Flame Stalker, the Inferno Ravager, the Ice Wyvern. Those are all free starter dragons. We'll be adding the stretch goal rewards, the healer, the nurse, the hybrid, the behemoth, the micro. Those are all unlockables for free in the game just by. We have 4 other dragons listed on the roadmap coming way later. Those you want to those either. Those will not be DLCs. The only 3 DLCs we have planned right now are Acid Spitter, which is already out, the Blitz Striker, and the Fire Behemoth. And some people don't like the idea of DLCs, but DLCs really help this, support the game. So it's what a lot of, every business model is different. And if we were like Ark, well, Ark has lots of DLCs anyway, but if a game that you have millions and millions of players, you don't need DLCs, but DLCs is a way to support the game and fund its development. Provides pretty cool dragons. So.
Is the fire elemental the only planned elemental?
No. You got Magma, the fire elemental, you got Thunder, the lightning elemental, and you got Glacier, the ice elemental. Those are the 3 elementals we got planned.
And I just posted our roadmap in the chat, our Trello roadmap, if anyone wants to see all the critters we got planned so far. Is A++ stats in the game yet?
Yep.
Will there be community events planned in the future, like competitions?
We've already done some of those. We'll probably have more eventually. We did a bio skinning contest. We've done Halloween, pumpkin carving contests. We've done some other contests. So yeah, we'll keep doing those things.
How long does it take each dragon to grow? And will there be a speed up mechanic for the growth of dragons that will help speed up your growth?
It takes around 2 hours for an acid spitter and 3 hours for a shadow scale. It's not exact, but around those times. We plan to add a developer event dragon. It's going to be a lindworm, or might be a long drake, but we're going to add a dragon eventually that will nest in on different servers as an event. And when that happens, if you have that dragon, then you can buff other people's growth in return for food and water. So you will really drain their food and water, and so that will feed your dragon food and water, and then in return they get a growth buff.
Can we make the gender differences be more obvious?
They are. It just depends on what species. The Flamestalker has, it's a whole lot easier to tell the males from the females because their models are different. It just depends. We try to, look at each species differently. Like in real life, sometimes birds will look exactly alike. It's just one will have different color than the other. Or you might see the male birds have, beards or head feather crests, and the female birds have, they don't. And so we're trying to, diversify our different dragon species so that different dragons will have different dimorphism.
And not all species will have sexual dimorphism. It will depend on the species and how they're built. If you unlock a skin or a dragon on a server, will you keep it on the server or will you lose it when you die?
Unlocks stay or permanent on the server. With the exception maybe the hybrid. So I'm still talking, we're talking about that, debating about whether you should have to continuously unlock the hybrid or not, because it's a very strong, powerful, and supposedly rare dragon. So Kickstarters are lucky in that aspect that they'll always have that dragon available.
Do we have sexual dimorphism for the bioluminescent dragon planned?
I don't know, do we?
No, that might be one that doesn't have it. Will the dev dragon be able to boost an adult to elder?
No, that's not how they work. They will help you grow from baby to adult faster. Yay.
Will the snowy redwood biome make a return?
Yes. You'll see a lot of snowy biomes in the winter winds.
There is a question of how we justify the ecosystem surviving without rain.
Dew, morning dew, waters ground.
Will we take into account the lower tier groups not being able to pick up corpses to refresh them despite having despite the effort to take down larger prey species?
Ask me that again.
Will we take into account that lower tier groups will not be able to pick up a corpse to refresh it despite a lot of effort in taking down the larger prey?
I guess y'all better be hungry and eat up. I mean, maybe it would stay. See, well, there's going to be a difference between corpses and gut piles, or because
Corpses and carcasses.
yeah, carcasses. So right now we don't have the carcasses in the game right now, but you won't be able to carry around carcasses, and they will stay on the ground a lot longer than the corpse. So you'll eat, and then after its food value goes down to a certain level, it will become a carcass, and then the carcass will stay there a lot longer than the corpse. And the carcasses will be a little different in that they won't eat up as much server resources as the corpses will. So, and you won't be able to move them around. So if you eat it up before it, despawns, then it'll turn into a carcass, and then you can feed on that for a while.
How long do you plan to continue to work on Dave Dragons after the game is considered complete?
Well, if it's considered complete, that means that we will have all 4 biomes in the game. They'll be all polished. It'll be, all the dragons will be in. The mechanics, all that stuff will be all done and finished. And the expansion will be out, and then at that point, I guess we're either working on Day Dragons number 2, or we're Beawesome Games is working on another open world creature survival game. So when will we ever get to that complete stage? I have no idea, but we're going to keep working towards getting there. It's going to take time. So games usually take a minimum 5 years, and if we're still in beta after 5 years, then there's something wrong. So we're going to keep working on this open beta, and I think Genesis 1.0 might be out early next year, maybe late this year, and then the roadmap is going to take us to get to version 1.7. I don't know, it just depends. Some of the things are going to come really quick, and some of the things are going to take longer. So the mechanics, I think we'll have a lot of the mechanics done by the end of this year. Other things like making models and animating them is something that is like an ongoing thing.
What's the difference between Elder and Alpha?
It's mostly terminology. One refers to age, and the other one refers to class. So Elder is an age of a dragon. So you have hatchling, juvenile, adult, elder, and ancient. Those are the 5 ages of dragons. Alpha is a class designator. So like a shadow scale is class 4, but if I'm an alpha, then I'm a class 5. So I level up on my class. And the next patch will actually have a A next to the class designator under biology. So instead of saying 5, it will say 5A. So that'll let you know that you're a class 5 alpha, which means you're really a class 4, but you leveled up to class 5 because you're an alpha.
Will there be any more Patreon skins or rewards added for higher tiers?
Yes, we are going to add more patron tiers. We wanted to get the open beta out because people like to accuse us of things, and so now that we have the open beta out, and we've proved all the critics wrong, we can add more patron tiers. And one of the tiers that we want to add is going to allow players to pledge for a tier that incorporates their character into the game when we add quests and lore. And so you might talk to a dragon, and an ancient ancestor dragon, and they would know your they would refer to your character, your patron character, by name through the quest dialogue. So that's something that that we might do. I can also have the quest NPCs recognize your Steam ID and give you special dialogue options. That's something I'm thinking about maybe doing, because I think that's cool. I like lore. I think it's really cool if the NPCs actually know who you are.
How will the sense system work?
You'll smell. You'll sniff sniff, and then there'll be like if you played Red Dead Redemption online, um, you'll see these like scent trails that show you where the scent source is coming from, and then there'll be like a little sprite of smoke, scent emanating from whatever your scent source is when you get close to it. So it'll be like a scent trail, and you follow the scent trail to the scent source.
Could we make it so two creatures can help carry a larger corpse together?
Uh, I don't know. I'd have to think about that. See how. Um, it might be a little difficult to code, but I don't know. I'll look into that and see if that's something that's viable.
Will there be a sandbox mode used for deathmatch where you can play every dragon even if you have not unlocked them?
Uh, yeah, it's something I want to add eventually. Just give people the ability to chill and hang out as adults, and maybe just practice PvP.
Will modding support be added?
I don't know. I might do that eventually, but if I do, it's going to happen later because I'm the only programmer, and um, there's a whole lot more important things for me to work on than adding modding support right now.
Will there be injuries like fractures or illnesses or infections added in the game?
Maybe. Uh, Disease is maybe something we'll add. Um, we already have a wounding system as far as like injuries. I don't think we're going to do that. Disease might come in.
How goes the hunt for a map designer?
Oh, we have some references that we are going to look into. We've had some referrals. Um, I think my map looks pretty good. It's definitely needs a dedicated map person that can just do nothing but work on the map while I work on coding. But I think right now it's definitely decent and enjoyable. Um, but yeah, we're looking at some different references for map designers, level designers, level artists, whatever they're called.
Does low stamina affect your flight speed?
Having no stamina affects your flight speed because you won't be able to accelerate.
Will the clan caves be customizable, buildable, um, able to add more rooms, make it bigger, and change in other ways?
Don't know yet. Yay for morning. I can see.
Could a multi-headed dragon become a thing?
Maybe.
Will elementals be the only non-dragon playable species?
At this time, yeah. I know some people have talked about wanting to be AI creatures in the game. I don't know. I guess if you want to roleplay that, but how would you like to be a a thornback crawler and everybody on the server is looking for you because they're like hungry?
Is breeding the only way to get better genes?
Yeah.
Will there be venomous dragon species?
Yep. We got one on the roadmap already.
Will we add mini games in the future like dragon racing?
I don't know. You can make up your own mini games in the server.
Can the border of the map be made more visible?
Yeah, I might do something with that. And a lot of people will crash into the invisible wall. I might have it glow once you get close to it, so you know it's there. I think that's what Ark does. Some games they just make a big box around the world so that you can't walk out of it. Others put invisible walls in there. You can't have a box or a terrain walls when everybody's a dragon unless you made like really high walls, which then it kills the horizon. So about the only thing we can do to keep people on the map, I think, is invisible walls. So I might put a glowy thing on them so that when you get close to them, you see them start to glow so that you know it's there. It's like, turn around, turn around. Best way to land, the best way to land, a lot of people when they're flying, here's a flight tip, pro tip, is just to hold spacebar. Like a lot of people will, they will fly and then they press F at the wrong time, and the best way to land is just to hold spacebar. It will fly you to a stop and then you'll slowly decline until you hit the ground.
This is a two-part question. Will there be other AI creatures other than insects, and will there be AI dragons?
Yeah, we have a snapper coming pretty soon. That's going to live in the water areas, and he's class 3 AI, and so he's going to be a bit of a challenge. And he stalks the water ponds. You can draw him out. He can walk on the ground, and then you can attack him and try to kill him. He's got heart. He's well armored, but you should be able to solo him as a acid spitter, and especially as a shadow scale adult. We have a rhino-like thing. It's going to be coming eventually, and it'll be out in the more plain areas. It's very dangerous. It would definitely kill a shadow scale 1v1. It's like class 7, I think, AI or something like that. But we got different AI coming. Of course, the sand and snow slayer worms are coming. Those are going to be like a server event or a clan. It's going to take a clan or a server group to take them down. They're very, very powerful, class 10 AI, but the rewards will be worth it. You get Slayer Pearls when you kill them. You also get a Slayer skin, which is unlockable. You unlock it by killing them, and so there'll be a special skin you get for killing the Slayer worms.
Is the bio planned to be venomous or cause sickness? I can answer that one.
Thank you.
So the bio is going to be poisonous like the thornback. So when you eat them, it's going to increase your sickness. When will we expect the Flamestalker and Elemental update?
Well, it's not going to be next week. I can guarantee you that, because we're taking next week off, and we're going to just take a break because none of us have had a break all year, and I haven't had a break since Christmas, and we're going to take a break next week and just relax and play some games, and then the week after next we'll get back to working on Dodd, and so there'll be an update coming probably at the end of August, maybe early September, but I think we can get it out, an update out at the end of August. It'll include the scent system and some balance changes and some bug fixes, and some more skins, things like that. But as far as like when the Flamestalker and when the Magma are going to be in the game, it's mostly we're waiting on the animations. So when the animations are finished, we'll be able to integrate those. It won't even take a day to integrate them once the animations are all done. So I don't know. I can't give a date on when that will happen, but I definitely would say that the Magma would. Well, I don't know. The Magma will probably be done. He's almost done. He's only got like 4 or 5 animations left to do. But I don't know if I want to put him in the game yet until the Flamestalker and the Inferno are done, for balance issues. And he's also supposed to spawn in the lava land, so I might wait for that to be done first before he's added to the game. So.
Will there be ways to kill your dragon, like commands or drowning?
For non-admins,
Yes.
no. Because when you do that, you get a big pile of bodies of people looking for the skin they want.
Will there be underwater caves?
Probably. And the best way to get the skin you want is to find people that already have the skin and ask them to nest you in. Day of Dragons is very much a social game, and even us introverts need to socialize a little bit. And I think the games that have the longest longevity are social oriented games. All the games I played that don't involve other players, I played them for a couple days, beat them, and uninstalled them. So I don't want Day of Dragons to be play it for a couple days, beat it, and uninstall it. I want it to be something that people play with their friends. They form friendships over, clans, clan up, clan versus clan, group versus group. That's the kind of game I want to make.
When will the bulbous spined scrab be added?
There's a good chance you'll see that in the August update. It's all done. I just have to um, work on the combat AI for it. So that won't take me too long, but it'll its behavior is it will attack you. Not it will defend itself if you're small, and if you're large, it's going to run away from you. So that's its behavior. And so I just have to program the behavior for the AI, and then I'll be able to put that in. And you'll find that thing around water areas, the rivers and anywhere there's water. He likes water. But he will most likely be in the August update, if there is an August update. I think there will be, but it could be a September update.
Will the magma grow? The magma elemental.
No, he's already very big and powerful. He doesn't need to grow. But he does have his own in-game loop and his own uh, things that he's going to pursue in the game. So.
What will be the most dangerous biome?
Probably the dangerous dunes, because sand slayer worm. You go out in the desert. When we bring the desert, the desert biome back, uh, it'll be something that you don't. You'll. It's going to be the Inferno Ravagers starting biome. But for other players going there, you're probably going to go there if you're hunting for sand slayer worms. So. The winter winds will also be dangerous. Lava lands. Forgotten Forest is probably the easiest biome of all the ones planned. So, and most of the dragons will call this one home, but there'll be dragons that specifically spawn in the lava lands or dangerous dunes, winter winds.
If you are nested in a new skin, will you be able to unlock that skin on your server?
It depends how the skin unlock works. Like if you unlock something on one server, it does not unlock on another server. Each server has its own unlocks. The only way to do that would be like have the server owner, load your save from the other server you are on. So then you could kind of transfer your saves over, but unlocking something on one server doesn't unlock it on another one because the servers aren't linked. And the save is server side, it's not client side, otherwise people could just cheat. And speaking of the magma elemental, one other thing, even if you're on a PvE server, magma elementals you can still fight them. So there's still PvP between elementals and dragons.
What is the Ice Wyvern's special ability?
That would be Hoarfrost, and their Hoarfrost ability allows them to slow down any dragon that's around them, so their speed goes, they become very slow, and also has a chance to freeze them. So it's that's their special ability.
Do we still plan on adding the weird slug cow creature AI because it's not on the Trello?
Not at this time.
Will there be a skin selection preview image on the spawn screen?
Skin selection preview image on the spawn screen. That's something some people have asked about. I'd have to redo the spawn screen for that. And so I don't want to do that right now because I don't have time. But I might do that later. We'll see. I made the spawn screen so for I wanted to make sure that servers could put their rules and all that stuff on there, and just the way it's designed right now, it doesn't have any room for a skin thing. But I'd have to redesign it, so it might happen in the future.
What's the special ability of the lightning amphitheater, the Blitz Striker?
Stun. So he can set off like an EMP in his area and stun nearby dragons. So
How difficult will it be to keep an elemental fed?
they don't really need dragons for food. Um, they want dragons for their in-game loop, not for food. Um, but as far as like keeping like magma, uh, when he when he gets low on like lava, you're gonna have to find lava to recharge him. It's not, you don't eat dragons to recharge. You need to stay near lava. So he could technically like wander away from lava for a while, but eventually he's gonna get slower and slower, and eventually he'll just the glow on him, he starts losing that bright lava glow and he starts dimming out, um, and the game gets a lot harder for him. So you'll definitely want to stay in hot areas near lava. You can venture out, but it's best to stay near lava. Any other questions?
Why would the behemoth only take 7 hours to get to Elder when it takes a shadow scale several days to become one?
That is a behemoth's special ability. So, like, being a behemoth, you naturally grow to elder over time, and um, they're also very slow and pretty rare. And it might end up being longer than 7 hours, but for right now, it's 7 hours. There's going to be ways to keep them rare. One is the rarity of finding a female for nesting. There might be a cooldown on if you die. You might have a cooldown before you can play it again.
Will there be a hit marker effect or a sound the dragons make when they're hit with a projectile?
We've had a lot of people asking about that, and yeah, we might do that. Right now, you only squee and pain if you get damage from either a impact or a bite. We had it to where you would squee, you know, anytime that you took any kind of damage, but if you are like constantly being burned with fire and you're constantly going, you know, or making the pain sound, it gets really annoying. So I might figure out a way to do that. Maybe put a timer on how often it can play, but for now it's just with bite or, you know, impact damage.
If you are low on stamina, will others be able to see that visibly?
No.
They would like to know if they can have a hint of how to get A++ genes.
No. No hints. I say one. I could say like just one letter of the alphabet and somebody would figure it out in 10 seconds. So no hints. And then everybody knows about it because everybody reads the spoiler chat.
Will there be DLC skin packs or emote packs?
We do want to add emote pack and probably DLC skins eventually. Yeah.
Are we looking to hire someone for skin design?
We have several people who already can make skins. You know, as we grow, you know, we might have more devs come on the team. You know, we are looking for a couple different roles right now. But you know, our growth, you know, with as far as a company goes, is, you know, very conservative. You know, I don't want to overstretch our budget, and you know, we do have a budget. Um, so, and hopefully with the open beta, everything, you know, as we get more support, you know, our budget will grow. But you know, we've been developing now for 2 years with a full, you know, how many 11 developers or something like that, and you know, money goes quick when you're um, you know, paying, you know, people to work on your game. And um, so as our budget grows, so will our developer team.
Will we tweak the crosshairs to be more accurate?
They're already extremely accurate in first person mode, so if I'm in first person mode, you know, I can pinpoint shoot wherever I want to shoot. A lot of people are shoot in third person mode, and the shot goes a little lower than where you're aiming in third persons because the camera offset. Um, the actual aiming part is the same. It's just the because the camera offset it, your crosshair sits above where it's actually aiming, and you know, I might do something to compensate for that. But right now, if you want super accurate aiming, then you need to go into first person mode.
It also is showing you your long distance shot, not your close distance. So if you shoot from very far away, it's going to hit exactly where your crosshair is.
Yeah, it's because third person, third person games, a lot of times when they do aiming, you have actually two parts to that. You have the actual server side projectile comes out of the crosshair. So wherever you're aiming, that's where the real projectile comes from. And then there's a visual projectile that comes out of the mouth or the barrel of your gun, wherever, and that's what you see. So what you see and where the real projectile is not necessarily the same thing. The server, is there's your crosshair on the screen, and then there's the visual projectile that comes out of the mouth. So getting them two to sync up is in third person. In first person it's easy because the crosshair and the point of the projectiles leaving the same spot. But when you're in third person mode, you have the projectile leaving the mouth and you have the line trace coming from your camera. So getting them to sync up, like, is, I just hit exactly where I was aiming at range. Do it again. See, boom, went right where I was aiming. The problem is at close range, there's an angle offset with the camera and the mouth, and so it looks like it's shooting lower. But if you're in first person mode, you hit exactly where you're aiming. So in third person, you will hit right where you're aiming at distance. At close range, it might be a little lower. Just go to first person mode or aim a little higher. So the more you play, the more you'll get used to the way it is. But I might add like maybe some mils or something on the reticles to allow you to offset it or something. You guys are adding more and more work for me to do.
Well, we have reached the 2-hour mark of our stream.
Awesome. So we don't want to go ahead and stay here all day. We appreciate all the questions. We thank you all for being a part of our Dev Q&A live stream. We hope you enjoy the open beta. Like I said, we're going to be laying low next week as we try to get some rest and get caught up on some of our game time, because we're all gamers. And we're going to do another live stream as we get closer to the August release, or it'll probably be after the August release. If there is an August release, it might be a September release, but I think we can do an end of August update. But we just want to say thank you very much for playing Day of Dragons. Thank you for sticking with us and believing in us, and we're going to keep working on the game as long as you keep playing it. And with that said, we're going to end the stream, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, everyone.